Good afternoon, everybody. So today's adventure brings us to Phenix City, Alabama. Now we're here for the Abigail Abercrombie witch folklore. Now, before Phenix City was called Phenix City, it was primarily two separate towns, Girard and Brownsville, basically. And it merged in 1923, with Brownsville being renamed Phenix City in 1897. Basically, long story short, Abigail the witch, which was supposedly a good witch, had three different husbands that died mysteriously. You know, back in the day, labeled her as a witch, etc., etc. And they basically hung her from a tree. And we'll get to that a little bit later. We're at the swamps right now. We're on Brickyard Road, right here. So, supposedly, she used to wander these swamp areas, which is why we're starting the video off right here. And I don't know the exact location. I don't think anybody really does. It's not that big of a swamp. It's, you know, it's not small, but it's not large, you know. But this is it. Now, I am going to tell you a little bit about, you know, the incident. It reportedly took place in the rural Western Territory that would become Russell County, which we're in right now, 4 years later from the time of the witch hanging. At the time, the area was largely inhabited by Creek Indians, and nearby cities of Columbus, Georgia, and Girard, Alabama, were just being established. White settlers were few, primarily occupying lands purchased from the Creeks, etc., etc. One of the earliest settlements was Claymore Plantation, which we're going to be looking for that also, and it's not here no more. I believe it's been demolished long ago. It was owned by a man named Claymore, and located along the Chattahoochee River. So we're definitely going to be looking for that, and to try to find her grave. Again, we'll get to that a little bit later. But it was along the Chattahoochee River near what is now Brickyard Road. Here's Brickyard Road, or at least a piece of it, that we're at the swamp right now. But it was at the site of the old Fieldcrest Mills, which is the same place as the other plantation that we're going to be going to. Now, while the name persists today, the plantation was significantly larger in 1828 than any current property. The story of the 1828 hanging survives thanks to research of former Russell County historian John T. Smith, recorded in the 2003 book, The Heritage of Russell County, Alabama. So you can purchase that book. You might even be able to just look it up online and read a little bit of it. But we're going to walk around a little bit and just take a look at the swamp a little bit and just see what we see. Right now I'm parked on the side of the road, so I'm not trying to go too far. But we can go it down a little bit just to check it out. Again, we are in the borderline basically between Alabama and Georgia. So again, you got to keep an eye out for snakes, certain spiders and stuff like that, which we're kind of used to by now, so doing a lot of videos down here in the south lately. But this is it. This would have been your little swamp area that Abigail the witch would have, you know, frequently been spotted back then. Now, I don't want to go all the way down there because I don't know if I'm going to fall into the swamp stepping on that landing, which is a little jump down right there. But this would be your little swamp area right here. It's really quiet. I don't really see much signs of life out here. I'm sure there is, like I said, snakes and everything like that. But again, we're just going to walk around, take a look. Now I'm going to drive to different areas of the swamp to take looks at different areas. I'm also going to toss some screenshots and stuff like that in the corner so we can line stuff up. Not really line stuff up, but you know, go along with the folklore story. So again, here's your swamp, and there's a couple spots all the way back here that look really cool that I should have pulled over, but we'll do it on the way back. But again, this is where Abigail the witch would have frequently been messing around. I guess the swamp and the witch kind of go hand in hand a little bit when you think about it. Just to think, all the way back then in the 1800s, for a witch to be, you know, just all around, you know, the swamp area. And like I said, she had 3 husbands that mysteriously passed away. So, you know, it's a cool little story for you to read up on. I didn't prepare myself too much for this one. I read a little bit and, you know, just came on over here because this place is actually only 20 minutes from where I'm staying right now. So we figured we'd take a look around, show everybody. I have seen one person on YouTube show this swamp before. They were just riding by in their car. But other than that, no one really stepped out of their car to give a nice little video or anything. So that's what we're hoping to bring to you guys today for everyone that's watching. Could there be alligators in there? Sure. There definitely could. Some people will say there's no alligators in Alabama, and most people would tell you there sure is. So again, we're going to stop by a couple of little spots and try to track down some areas, but by the end of the video, we want to try and track down her actual grave. And it's marked by, I believe it said, 6-foot iron gate that surrounds her grave. So we have something that we can look for. We have a marker that we got to find. So let's continue on our journey and check it out and see what we can find. Okay, so we got a little bit of a better view. I'm down a little closer. I'm just watching my step real quick. But I'm going to give you a little more insight on the story as soon as I get up a little farther. I just got to pay attention to where I'm walking. It's starting to get really soft. I feel like I could fall through the ground right here. So, yeah, I could tell that it comes up a little farther for sure. Hold on. There's a lot of anthills and stuff. When I stand still, I don't want them all running up my leg. So let's head on over here. Well, I'm really sinking. So, okay. I'm trying to get over to this landing right here, which seems about the safest. Okay. So here's your swamp area. It's very cool. And as you see, my foot, I'm going through. Look at that. And then it's just like puffing back up. Okay. So here we are at the swamps off of Brickyard Road. And I'm going to tell you a little more about the story when they were going to hang her. The decision for a vertical burial was rooted in the common belief that a witch buried in a typical horizontal position could return to exact revenge upon those who sentenced them. An upright standing burial was believed to prevent the witch's return to earth. A tree limb was selected and a vertical grave was dug. A crowd gathered as Abigail was hanged by the neck over the grave. As the 3-hour hanging, could you just imagine that? Just hung for 3 hours. It's kind of insane. But as the 3-hour hanging was nearing its end and someone prepared to cut the rope, the narrative takes a dramatic turn. fire came out of the sky, which I'm assuming they meant like lightning bolts, maybe a storm or something like that. But it came out the sky and burned the rope to nothing. Abigail fell into the bottom of the grave with a heavy thud. The grave was covered and the community believed the matter to be settled. However, the gravesite itself became an enduring marker. Nothing would ever grow in the dirt covering the grave. Mr. Claymore reportedly interpreted this, along with the fire from heaven, as divine approval of his actions on his deathbed. He decreed that an iron fence should be erected around the site as an eternal memorial as to how witches should be treated. So, that iron fence is what we're looking for. Of course, not right here. It's down by the mills where she was hung and buried. I'm not sure if we can get onto that property, but we're going to try our best. But I figured I'd come down here and show you the swamps that Abigail the witch used to basically navigate and walk around and do whatever it is that she used to do down here. Maybe she had a little shack down here at one point in time, which definitely would not still be standing. You would be able to find the boards, of course, but yeah, it would be cool if somebody was brave enough to walk through all this, but that's not me. But I will walk the surrounding area of it just to show everybody a little bit, and that's what we're doing now. Basically, we don't know what we're going to come across. We're just down here in the swamps of Alabama and hopes that we see something. So far, the only thing I've seen while I've been down here besides ants all over the place is big birds, one white, one black. And they were farther down. I didn't want to stop the car just for that. But I really just wanted to show everybody the swamps and the area of the vicinity, because there's a whole nother side over there also. I'm not sure if you can park up over there or get out. I'm sure there's a trail somewhere, but we're going to circle the area and just check it out. But I do see like a building house way there. You probably can't see on my camera, but there's like a little house right there. Probably can't pick it up, but if you do, it's there. So someone's property. Maybe that's an old, abandoned property. I would hate to live this close to a swamp for sure, but this is it, and this is really cool. So now we're gonna try and find some of the plantations that they've been talking about, and see if we can find the burial site to, where the fire came out the sky and burnt the rope up and dropped her in the grave the wrong way. And basically that's where the folklore story comes from, that when she fell into the grave the wrong way, they didn't bury her how they were supposed to. And supposedly up here on Brickyard Road, at nighttime, as any other story, you can sometimes see or hear her. So we're just gonna walk around and make it back up here to the car and see if we can find the plantation or not. But one last look. Let me stand between these trees. One last look, and I'll see you at the next location. Okay, so as I was walking more through the woods, swamp area, I came across something that was really cool. Could this be Abigail's old hangout? Now, obviously the wood around it's really old, but they do have some new wood. Of course it's not, but it's really cool to see an image of what could have been. This is what it could have looked like. Something like this, just an old shack, in the middle of the swamp. And to come across this as we're trying to do a story down here is pretty awesome. Again, we're in Georgia. People probably sit up there and fish or something like that. Who knows? But who knows how long it's actually been here? Did they build it? Or has it been here since back in the day? We will never know. And since it's completely, I mean, that's probably like knee-high deep. It probably gets deeper and deeper as you go. I wish it was more closer to land. It's not far off, but I wish it was more closer to land so I could hop up there. But to see this shack is pretty cool, only because of the reason that we're here. Again, we're going to continue on our adventure, and I'll see you at the next location.